I just want to tell you just so before we start talking again, I'm not really a debater.
Yeah, no, I didn't know we were debating.
Oh, I'm just saying, like, cause and especially with this topic, I'm not real studied up. I know a few scriptures on it, but like if you wanted to get like a better understanding on like on the opposite side, I can have you set up with like one of my teachers and they'll be able to explain it. I mainly just study the law.
Okay.
So like with a lot of these controversial topics, I don't really touch on it.
Okay. Well, can I just show you what I have? So, like you said, I have no problem meeting up with a teacher, but again, not to debate because I don't debate either. I don't got time for that. But
Okay.
right, and my stress levels can't tolerate that. Okay. So let me just show you what I got, right? And then that's it. And you could, explain like you may if you heard it before, no problem. And then that's it. If there's
All right.
some things you didn't hear before, you can maybe write it down, relate to your teachers, and we can go over some things. All right. So I'm just gonna give you my vantage point, what I know to be. Okay, so going back into Matthew's chapter 1 to verse 3. See, a debate is more so like somebody's wrong, somebody's right. I have no idea if you're right or wrong. I never heard, your stance.
Right.
So, right. So, verse 3, where it says Judas begot Phares and Zara of Tamar. This is just letting you know when there's a father and mother having a child together, or actually lists both. So, if you read verse 5, same thing. It says Salmon and Rechab begot Boaz, and it says Boaz and Ruth begot Obed. And then it says in verse 6, it says, and Jesse begot David the king, and David the king begot Solomon. And then Solomon and the wife of Uriah, which is Bathsheba. David the king and the wife of Uriah, which is Bathsheba, they begot Solomon. So when the Bible wants to let you know there's a man and woman together, at least in this genealogy, having a kid, it tells you. Like it just did.
This is Matthew 1 again, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm listening.
Oh my gosh, somebody with their cheap ass car alarm. There we go. All right. So verse 16, it says, and Jacob begot Joseph. So when you follow the begots from verse 2 all the way down to 16, the father and son relationship stops with Jacob and Joseph, with the word begot.
Right. And which version of the Bible are you using?
This is KJV.
Okay. Listening.
Yeah. So it says, and Jacob begot Joseph. So that shows you the word, like I agree with you, the word begot establishes a direct parent, not a forefather, something like that, or descendant. This is the actual father of Joseph, biologically. So then it lists Joseph. So it lists you, Jacob and Joseph relationship, father and son, bloodline. And then it shows you Mary and Joseph relationship, which is just husband and wife. And then it lists Mary and Jesus relationship. It shows Mary as the mother. So what I always was able to show is that there is no father and son relationship between Joseph and Jesus in Jesus' own genealogy. So the word begot, as you said earlier, would establish father and son. So like that's what I pretty much shows that the Immaculate Conception is true.
All right. Are you able to take your screen up? Because I'm reading something different.
Okay.
If you go up, can you go up a little bit?
Yeah. Let me know.
And where are you seeing where it shows that like where it's talking about the man and the woman?
Oh, right here.
Was that?
Okay. So verse 3. It says,
okay.
So it says, and Judas begot Phares and Zara of Tamar. So we know Tamar was that she played the harlot to have sex with Judas because she was promised an heir to her, a son, right? Because her son, that's a Levirate law. So Judas denied her that of his youngest son, Shua. So the first two Most High killed, right? So this is establishing father and mother relationship, which produced Phares and Zara. Okay. So verse 5. Next it says Salmon begot Booz of Rechab. And this is just Rahab from the Old Testament, from Jericho. So again, when it lists a father and a mother, it shows you that they both are responsible for the kid. So Salmon begot Booz, and Booz is of his mother. So the word of shows you a biological relationship between mother and son. So because the kid is of the mother, but the father begets the kid. So when you look across from that, it says Booz begot Obed. And as a result, both Obed is of his mother, Ruth. And then verse 6, the last one I showed, it showed David the king begot Solomon, and Solomon is of his mother, Bathsheba.
Right.
Right. So when you go to verse 16, it only shows a begot between Jacob and Joseph. There's no begot between Joseph and Jesus.
Yeah, it says, and Jacob begat Joseph, the husband of Mary, of whom was born Jesus.
Right. Do men or women give birth?
Women give birth, but
right.
men carry the seed.
Yeah. So Jacob carried the seed for Joseph.
And Joseph carried the seed to Christ.
Where you read that?
So where did the seed of David come from?
So the seed of David, and it goes, that's verse 6.
Right.
So it says Jesse begot David the king, and David the king begot Solomon. So I'm guessing that that's David's seed right there, Solomon.
From David down to Joseph. What would be the seed of David?
When you say seed, what do you mean?
Like the seed of copulation, on how babies are born.
Oh, no. Then if that's true, then David's seed can only begot Solomon. It can't beget Jesus. And we established that in verse 1 when it says the son of David, the son of Abraham. This would be more lineage. It wouldn't be like a sperm connection.
All right. So like we wouldn't be considered the seed of Israel then?
No, you will be considered the seed of Israel. Both
because we're direct descendants of Israel, just like Joseph would be the seed of David, because he's a direct descendant of David.
Well, a direct descendant. Okay, so I think we're missing up on that language. When you say direct descendant, that means a son or a daughter. So now,
when I say direct descendant, means like you could trace your lineage directly to that person.
Okay.
Like for instance, I'm not a direct descendant of Esau because I can't trace my lineage to Esau. Right. But I am a direct descendant of Jacob or Israel because I can directly trace my lineage up to Jacob.
Right. Yeah, I got you. So I get you. So you're right when it comes to verse 1. It's showing you that David is a descendant of Abraham and Christ is a descendant for both. I get that. But when you go into verse 2 on down, it gets more specific. It gets more detailed. It shows you how everybody's a direct descendant. It shows you father and son relationship. It shows great grandfather all the way down to the last son, right? Because that's what genealogies do.
Right.
Right. So right now, if you had a paternity test, it's going to show you your father, right? And then your father take one, it's going to show his father. It's going to go all the way up.
Right.
Right. But if there's a man listed there, or I'm sorry, if there is no man listed there, then we cannot add that person to that paternity test. So when you go to verse 16, every man had begot a son, right? So every man established a father and a son, right? Until it got to Joseph. So Joseph, there's no word for begot next to Joseph. So that's what I was pointing out. Like when it got to Joseph, he's the only guy, at least in this book, Matthew chapter 1. He's the only guy who didn't beget a son.
Okay, so this isn't so all right. So my understanding, if I'm understanding you correctly, you're saying that this is not the lineage of Christ?
I'm saying this is the lineage of, it stops with Joseph. So it starts with Abraham and then goes to Joseph and stops. But that it's still Christ's lineage, but the biological sense stops at Joseph.
I don't understand that. It's because if it's Christ's lineage, then I mean Christ will be able to chase his ancestry up this lineage.
Yeah, it mentions his mother right there, Mary.
So this is not. So this is. But that's what I'm saying. Like this is Joseph lineage. This is not Mary's lineage.
This is definitely Joseph lineage.
That's what I'm saying. Like, so if this was the lineage of Christ, then it would trace up through Mary.
What? Well, I'm confused. If this the
I'm confused too. That's why I'm trying to get to understanding, because
okay,
Christ's
all right. So
lineage, if Joseph is not Christ's father, then that means that this would not be Christ's lineage.
nah,
This would be
I don't agree with that. So, and that's why I say like if we slow down, I think we will agree because I lost you, you lost me. Okay, so let's just agree on this. That the last, at least word that we see, the last begot was Jacob to Joseph. Can we agree with that?
the last begot was yes. In this
Okay,
passage.
right. So, okay, so that's the last. So, and the begot mentions like a biological sense. So, from my understanding, when you look at Moses, right? Moses married a Midianite woman, right? And the Bible says Jethro was his father. As a result,
Yes.
okay. So, but Jethro wasn't a Levite.
Right. And yeah, because Moses' father or whatnot would have been a Levite.
So,
Jethro was his father in the sense of it was his father-in-law. So therefore, Moses would not have traced his lineage up through Jethro. He would have traced his lineage up through his father.
so when did Jethro become his father-in-law?
When Moses married Jethro's daughter.
Right. So Jethro became his father by the law.
Right. Through marriage, but he became his father-in-law.
Right. So the law of marriage established Jethro as his father, right?
Correct.
Right. So what I'm pointing out is that there are three ways somebody could be your son, daughter, father, mother. So for one, the word begot can be there, right? Begot is like hands down. Nobody would disagree with that. And then we just established that if you just marry, you could be married into somebody's, you could be married in, and as a result, you could become somebody's father, mother, son, daughter. That's the marriage law, right?
Correct.
Okay, so Naomi, like for example, she became the mother-in-law of Ruth, right?
Correct.
Okay, so all throughout the book of Ruth, Naomi was not only considered the mother-in-law, Naomi was also just considered the mother. And also Ruth was at first called a daughter-in-law, and then it stopped saying that, and it just flat out called her daughter. So that relationship began more, the bond was tighter than this law. At some point, Ruth was just called the daughter, and Naomi was called the mother because of the marriage law. So that's the second way somebody can be a daughter, son, father, mother. Now, the third way, I think most people forget. So I think the marriage law, you already know about that, and you know about the birth law, begot. The third way, are you familiar with a third way somebody can be a father, son, daughter, or a mother?
Like if that's like your or you got the one where you're born, like you're actually born of this
Yeah,
person.
no, yeah, that's begot, and we got
Yeah,
marriage.
you got the one where you married, so that's
That's two.
all right, so that's your father-in-law. And
Right.
then you have the I seen in the scriptures where they refer to like their teachers as like that.
Okay. So,
Um and then you got it where like obviously everybody's father, which is the Most High.
okay. So, are you familiar with the book of Esther, like Mordecai and Esther? Like, is that like clear, or is it kind of like vivid?
Yeah, I know the story between Mordecai and Esther. Give me 1 second. We just got a meeting.
Yeah, go ahead. Okay. I got a game today, so you need me in the background dribbling the ball. That's me getting my wrist tight. Shit. Let me go on mute too, so I ain't distracted.
I got a meeting with my chief. I'm gonna have to call back in. Sorry about that.
No problem. No problem.
Thing. He's pissed about it.
He's coming over here?
You might want to log out. Okay, so that's part 3. I'm afraid if I go to the basketball hoop, he's going to call